in effect for the North County. All of northern San Diego County is under a high wind warning. I believe that.
Your mic is
that on
there.
now?
You go.
Okay,
now you're on.
Okay, good. All of North County is under a high wind warning. Winds are gusting up around 35, 45 miles an hour. One of the primary problems we're seeing is a fire of this size will actually generate its own winds. This fire consumes two kinds of fuel. It consumes the brush. It also consumes oxygen. As it continues to burn and you see all that fuel going up, the air has to rush in, oxygen has to rush in to fuel this fire. So we are seeing now reports of wind gusts of 35, 45 miles an hour, primarily around the Escondido area and also around the San Marcos area. The way we know that is through something called Doppler radar. Doppler radar can also, as well as looking at rain, it can also measure wind. It sees wind speed and direction. Primarily the winds are out of the east right now. We do have a Santa Ana condition. The problem we're seeing with the Santa Ana conditions, not only high winds and fairly consistent winds, but we're also seeing winds that are extremely dry in nature. We're talking about relative humidities, I just pulled this off the wire, of between 15 and 20% relative humidities. That's how much moisture the air mass can actually hold at a given temperature. And dew point temperature is a very good indication of moisture. It gives you an idea of how cold the air has to be before you would see fog, before the moisture in the air would condense. As you know, cold air holds less moisture than warm air. We're seeing dew point temperatures as low as 11 and 7 degrees. That is that's almost like air absent of any kind of moisture at all. Now, when you have those kind of dew points, those kind of relative humidity, such dry air mass, and on top of that, you see the winds gusting between 35, 40 miles an hour around this fire. Not only are you getting the additional evaporation of any kind of moisture which might be on any kind of plant matter, but you also continue to fuel that fire with more wind. And where Leonard Villarreal was, and he said the winds are starting to die down. You'll notice that the fire had also died down. So they're not seeing a lot of wind in the areas that the fire is dying down, because again, you lose that heat engine, that draw of all that thermal energy which is drawing in the air mass. So we continue to see the winds be a problem, and it looks like from all the current models we have that the winds will continue to be a problem until about noon tomorrow. They're not expecting any kind of significant weakening in the winds until tomorrow afternoon. Now, the rest of San Diego County is under a wind advisory, but it's the North County that's the problem.
Exactly, exactly. All right, Leon, thank you for that explanation. It makes it even sound more frightening, frankly.
It is, it is, yeah.
Oh, dear.
We have Leonard Villarreal at the northwest corner of La Costa, Rancho Santa Fe. It's right in the Carlsbad area. Leonard, what's the latest?
Kimberly, we are at La Costa at Cadenci and Borla, and again in this area, 8 homes went up in flames over the last several hours. Firefighters are mopping up, putting this one out, putting the last of the flames out on this house. With us right now live is Rancho Santa Fe firefighter Greg Rainville. Greg, it's been an incredible night for you guys. How do you react when you see a house like this destroyed, but yet see a house intact next door?
Well, it's an unfortunate incident to have a house burned down. We're here to try to save the homes. What's been happening is we've been losing these homes and having to save the homes next door, so we're glad we can do that, at least that much.
Of course, we blame the winds, but what part do these shake shingle roofs play in all this?
Well, they play a major role. As you can see, these embers keep flying down neighborhood to neighborhood, and we were talking earlier, there's houses on fire 5 miles from here. These shake shingle roofs get going, and that's it. You get into the attic, and then once the fire's burning on the inside of the house, it's hard to save it with this type of equipment and these resources here.
Some people have compared that to covering your home with the kindling.
Yeah, well, you could say that. We did a demonstration at our 50th anniversary party just on Sunday, and I think it was pretty clear what can happen with a shake shingle roof.
We have reports that 30 houses in this general area have been destroyed. I saw some of you firefighters up on burning roofs doing their best to put these out, so we want to congratulate you for that effort. What goes through your head when you're in a situation like that?
Well, you're trying to be safe, number one, and you're trying to protect the exposure as much as possible. Sometimes the house that's on fire is a goner, and you've got to do what you can to save the houses next door, and that's really what we've been trying to do tonight. Get on those fast and then try to save them.
It's been an incredible effort. Thank you very much for joining us live. What I'd like to do right now is show you the kind of effort that people were going to. Stan in the truck, if you could roll the videotape. These were Marines from Camp Pendleton that came out to the area to help out. This was a house that's actually next door to the one that was behind me right now. And embers had jumped onto the roof. And so these men are literally climbing up over to onto the roof, taking a fire extinguisher trying to put the flames out of the home. They also had a garden hose up there, but the pressure was so slight that that they just couldn't do anything. And then a neighbor came along also, was boosted up to the top of the roof in an effort to try and save the home. And as a matter of fact, as it turned out, the house right next to where we are right now was saved. You can see the address at 3324. Again, these volunteers, these ordinary citizens, and in this case Marines from Camp Pendleton, came down and made an incredible effort in saving the home. At one point the fire got a little out of hand, but they were able to give that out. Stan, thank you very much for showing that tape. And again, right now they are mopping up. The temperatures out here tonight have been absolutely incredible. The wind was hot, the embers were flying everywhere, and the heat was unbelievable. What I'd like to do right now is turn the microphone over to Ed Linderman, who is on scene right now. We'll just go ahead and let the video continue to play. But Ed, you've got some official information for us?
Well, Leonard, I just got back from the command post, which is over at a nearby school here, and unfortunately the news isn't very good. This is being called a Mother Nature fire, meaning that firefighters right now are on the defensive, and they will be on the defensive throughout the rest of the night and into tomorrow. Right now, this fire has got them by the tail, and it could very well burn from here all the way to the ocean. I said, you're serious about that? It is that bad. It is. Right now, some of the places, some of the real danger zones right now are Encinitas, Carlsbad, of course, where we are now, and La Costa, San Marcos, and Rancho Santa Fe. The problem is the winds continue to whip up. They would hope that Santa Ana winds sometimes die down in the evening. That is not the case. The winds have continued to gust at 25, 35, up to 45 miles an hour, and they have played havoc with all of the crews, not just here in this area, but all over the North County. And he said, yes, it's very, very likely that the fire could keep going west. It could start to go a little bit to the south, where we've got Encinitas, and then tomorrow, assuming that the winds, and that's what we're hearing from the weather forecasters, that the winds might die down a little bit. Okay, what happens when the winds from the east die down, and then we get the flow coming in, going toward the east again off the ocean? Now we're having problems again, going back toward Escondido and San Marcos, where the fire has just burned. Perhaps Escondido, perhaps elsewhere. So right now they are in a defensive posture. They are literally they're about, they said 110 engine companies. That's about 330 firefighters. I said, do you need more firefighters? Not right now. They've got, certainly they could use some more equipment and some more firefighters, but that is not the problem. Not enough manpower is not a problem. They are expecting some California Department of Forestry crews to come in from Northern California tomorrow. There will be, but as I said, right now, equipment and manpower is not the problem. Here are the Marines right now that I guess Leonard was referring to. Leonard? Yeah. You want to go ahead and, since you were talking about...
Sure, thanks very much.
Late on that.
These were the... from Camp Pendleton. I know you guys climbed up to the house next door. You ended up saving it, but you guys were climbing up on a hot roof. What was going through your mind?
I was just worried about the guys not make sure that they stayed in the place they should so they wouldn't fall through, and just to get the fire out, find where the main cause and source of it was, and to get it under control so the firefighters could get it out, maybe save the house as much as they could of it anyway.
Well, we didn't get your name.
Lance Corporal Owens.
Corporal Owens, we want to thank you again. It's amazing what you and your friends have done. Now, were you sent down here by the Corps, or did you guys come down on your own?
No, we went out to go get a movie actually, and we saw the flames, and we decided to come just see what was going on. And on the way down here, we decided to see if we could help, and we ran up here, and they started giving us the gear, and we just jumped in.
Just jumped in, and again, because you jumped in, I know of at least one home that you guys saved. Identify yourself and tell me what it was like fighting the fire, basically barehanded.
My name is Lance Corporal Pershing, and really, you didn't have time to think. It's just basic instinct. It's just really nothing was rushing through your mind but getting the fire out.
What about personal danger?
Really, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking more of the family that actually lived there then.
All right, 3rd Marine here, what's your name?
Lance Corporal Richardson.
Tell me what was going through your mind. Now, I know there were times here where the smoke was so thick that we could hardly breathe. Weren't you worried about literally burning up?
No, not at all. We knew if we stayed back far enough and did what the firefighters told us to do, we'd be fine. We'd just help out, try to stop the fire before it burned the house down.
All right, I know you gentlemen saved several homes. We thank you very much. And we ought to tell you again that these people were not assigned here. They were out to rent a movie, saw the area was in trouble, and on their own volunteered. And know that we know that they made a difference in saving at least one home. Right now, we're going to jump up back to Sky 10 with Andrea with a look at what's going on up there.
Okay, Leonard, what you're looking at right now, we're located just south of San Marcos. It's the north rim of the burning fire. You can see a cross there right in the middle of the frames. It's called the San Marcos Cross. Kyle Anastasio, who's our pilot, lives in San Marcos, and his home is threatened down below. This is one of the structures that sort of stands alone in the dark brush and the flames tonight. It's hard to tell what this is going to look like at daybreak because over 5,000 acres have been charred, close to 30 homes have burned. I mean, like I said, this is sort of like a sign in the midst of all of this. Out of the windshield here, Sky 10, I'm looking north and east, an area called Valley Center and Rincon, where another fire has whipped up. We've been in touch with Astria. They are over it. They are saying that one is burning out of control. So we've got two major fires now burning in San Diego County, this one being the major one that everyone's getting some attention to. It's been a tough night for fire crews down below, and I can tell you that flames are heading towards the neighborhood down near San Marcos, so this could be the next hotspot. Carol, Ken, back to you.
All right.
Andrea, it's quite a sight.
That is an awesome sight. Thank you.
Well, it didn't take long for the Red Cross, as per usual, to mobilize. 3 evacuation centers are underway and operational, I should say, right now in the North County area. Gail Falkenthal with the Red Cross is on the line with us. Gail, what's the status right now with regard to the evacuation centers?
We have 3 shelters open at this time, and we'll house people overnight at San Marcos High School, San Diego High School, and Rancho Santa Fe Middle School. Now, we are working on getting a shelter evacuation center open in Valley Center. We don't have that to report to you yet, but we'll let you know as soon as we've got that available.
Gail, for a lot of people that don't understand exactly when they should move, where to go if they do leave their house, what to bring, what not to bring, obviously that's a personal choice, but there are things that people ought to know, and I think for many residents up in the North County right now, they need that information. Just tell them from the Red Cross point of view what they need to know tonight.
Well, obviously, number one, if law enforcement tells you to move, you move. You get out. They're telling you something in your own best interest. Certainly, if you feel any discomfort, if you think it's safer for you and your family to move, you are welcome at our shelters. We will take in anybody that feels that it's in their safety and the best interest of their family to move into one of those shelters. And certainly, after this is all over, we want people to think about being prepared for the next one, because unfortunately, living in Southern California, there will be a next time, whether it's a fire, whether it's an earthquake, or some other sort of natural disaster.
At this point, do you have any idea how many people are taking advantage of the Red Cross shelters?
We know that in our San Marcos High School shelter, there are about 64 families, close to 200 people. We don't have as accurate a count just yet in San Diego or Rancho Santa Fe. For those people who are wondering if their loved ones or their friends are at a shelter, they can inquire with Red Cross. We'd ask them to wait till tomorrow, and you are showing our number on your screen, 291-2620. They can ask for disaster welfare inquiry, and we can hopefully get them the news they're looking for.
All right, Gail Falkenthal, representing the Red Cross tonight. We certainly appreciate you and the good people who volunteer for the Red Cross, and are grateful for you as always in any disaster situation. Well, we're going to be back in just a moment with a little more coverage for you, so stick around.
I am Fifth Avenue. Even though I live amongst debutantes and celebrities, things are dull. Oh, look, another tourist. Is there no relief from this monotony?